Hello. I am going to do a quick practice of just a traditional bloom on this 6-inch tile using some paint that I have from my last pour. And if you saw our last video, this is where the mess is from, where we did a swipe using the bloom recipe. So hardened the not clean canvas. I also got my house paint bottle really dirty. So anyway, trying to make sure you can see that tile pretty well because I had to zoom way in. My tripod seems to be a little bit out of focus. Hopefully not. Okay. Anyway, for those of you guys not familiar with the bloom technique, it is something that Shelley developed, and she offers a course that's super awesome. And I have taken the course, but I haven't had a lot of time to practice yet, so I am getting a little bit better at it. So I'm not gonna bother to spend a lot of time on how you mix everything up, but this is white house paint semi-gloss. I use Glidden Premium Indoor House Paint. And we're basically just using this as a pillow for our design. And then your pouring medium is an untinted deep base paint. I think that's gloss or semi-gloss. I would have to look at the container. And it's a 3-to-1 ratio of the untinted base with polyacrylic or Sonja's gloss varnish, which is what I have been using lately, and I really like it. I got a little hair dryer to blow out the center. My paint is a little thick because I just did a pour with these paints and they've been out for a little bit. So anyway, I like the Sonja's better. I think you get better cells with it, but that also could be because my skill level is a little bit amateur still, which is why I'm practicing on these tiles. I have been having a great time trying the pseudo swipes, and I've had great practice with those so far. I'm using the Boysenberry by Colourarte, is that blue color, and then 24 karat gold by Art. This one is Ginger Flower by Colourarte. This orange color is Cadmium Medium, I think, by Grumbacher. I really want most of this to be that blue and pink color, but I do want there to be some of the orange in there. So we're just making a little puddle here. I do want there to be a lot of color on this. So I really want the color to kind of stretch across the whole tile. Still kind of learning what the best ratio for that is. And the other thing I want to try is I mixed up a black cell activator, which I've never really tried. So I kind of want to see how that does. I'm not going to do that on this one, but I want to mix up some colors, maybe some of the pastel colors from Colourarte. And so my husband's doing homework, and so I'm practicing. I should be working on some tumbler orders, but it was already late in the day, so I've been kind of late to start all that. So One more little bit of gold. I have a feeling I have too much gold in here. My idea is this would be mostly blue and pink with some hints of other colors, but I may just have entirely too much paint on here. So I'm gonna finish off typically the color you put down first and last before your cell activator will be your dominant color, usually. A little nervous with finishing off with the orange right underneath the blue there. I have hardly any blue left in this cup, so I hate to leave just this little bit in here. I may just add a little bit to it. Typically, when you mix these, you're really only supposed to use them for a week or two. I have managed to stretch them out before, but because they have a varnish in them, if you just leave them out while you're painting, they're going to dry out. Maybe not entirely, but they'll get kind of gummy and you'll lose some of the paint consistency. So I'm tempted to add this wine and roses color because I love it so much. And I have a little bit of it over here, but I'm not going to. So we're going to put cell activator right in the middle there. And we're going to blow it out with a blow dryer. Now I have this cute little blow dryer I got that's 1,000 watts. And I put this little cup adjustment on it. I'm not sure if you can see that. That might be too close. Just to isolate the air flow a little bit. But I'm kind of tempted to take it off and see if it doesn't do better without it. I'm afraid that it would just blow all the paints all muddy together. So I may not do that. So kind of want to throw a little bit more cell activator. It kind of sank. It's not really what we want it to do. Maybe we'll just put a little bit next to it. So I'm going to put a cool shot on here. So we got great cell action here, not great everywhere else. So I'm going to blow that out a little bit. Still not great. It's okay. What that tells me is that, for one, my cells are really white, so I probably had too much cell activator. But some colors are coming through now. Maybe I should not use this little cup all the time. Like I use this when I'm doing a 4-inch tile, but maybe on a bigger tile, maybe I shouldn't use it. So these are all the reasons why we practice on things like tiles. But I took a cup and I rigged it. It's real tacky looking, but so now we're waiting for the design to kind of come back in the middle. And sometimes you'll feel like you're waiting a really long time. But if you stretch it and it's not back there, essentially your paint will have bottomed out right here and your design won't move. Essentially, when you start to tilt that, you want your design to move on top of that paint. And if you don't wait a little bit for it to come back into the center, then you're going to lose a lot in your composition. So far what we can see is the blue took over as expected and sort of as intended. I really like that blue. Just pop in a bubble here. The gold has created some really beautiful layers. The only thing is a lot of that will get tilted off. But as we stretch it, it should open up these other colors a little bit. That magenta, the ginger flower color, is sort of lost in here, but it's definitely gonna show a little bit more. The orange color is more of an accent color, which was sort of the intent. We still have kind of a bloomy design, right? We still have petals here. I don't really care if it looks like a flower. That's not why I like the composition of the design. I love the lacing that come from the cells. I think it is a beautiful and delicate looking design. So right here, even though there's a little bit too much white right there, which I'm tempted to blow it out a little bit, but it would mess up the composition at this point. You sort of get like this really short window where you can mess with it once you've blown it out, and beyond that it's just going to look muddy. So, and we're finally starting to see this come in. It does take a little bit of time, so you kind of have to be patient. However, it can, if you wait too long to stretch it, your paint kind of starts to dry. So, because again, this base of house paint, it dries a lot faster than regular acrylic paint, and because your paints are mixed so much more thick, they're gonna dry more quickly. But what I love about this particular technique that Shelley has come up with is you retain so much more of the richness of the color than if you had done a regular acrylic pour. Not that I don't still love regular acrylic pours, I absolutely do. But you don't necessarily maintain a lot of the composition or the color because you don't have a lot of control over where your design remains and all of that. Sorry, it's late, so my brain is a little fried. But we are running out of time to tilt this effectively. It's not entirely back in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt some of that toward where we need it to land, just a little bit, and very slowly, because I don't want to lose what I have going on up here. Just to kind of encourage it. The bad thing about using like a hair dryer or something is the way you blow it out initially is pretty, it goes pretty low. It's pretty harsh. But I have found that when you just blow it yourself, sometimes you don't get, it doesn't move that cell activator well enough. So now it's starting to move a little bit. And so you may not get the design, the lacing and all of that. It does take a long time to tilt it, so you kind of have to be patient. And you don't want to overstretch yourselves because then you are going to lose the lacing detail. So what I do is, just to help the paint stretch, I try to help it along with some of the runoff. Essentially, most of that's going to tilt off anyway, right? But you're just kind of helping it move. I love one part of this, and it is a part that I'm not sure how we're going to maintain it without losing it and tilting it off. So I'm trying to kind of tilt everywhere else first. Like, I don't like how much white, oh crap. I guess we're going to tilt that off. I don't like how much white we have there. Yeah, that was a bonehead move on my part. You should never point over your painting. Can't tell you how much paint I have on my hands. That's like a knucklehead thing to do. But, I mean, we've all done it. So, now, I don't like how much white we have here. I think I used too much cell activator. I was all worried that it sank, and unfortunately it's causing me to have to overstretch a little bit. I don't even know if you guys can see what I'm doing, so forgive me if you can't. I wanted you to have a decent view of the tile, so I might have zoomed in a little too much. I'm really nervous about tipping all of that off. Hold on just a second. There was like some paint snot or something there. No bueno. I'm only giving this a little help to get it to the corner and give it something to tilt off, so. Okay, so this is kind of turning into a big purple tile. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but my goal was to have mostly blue and pink and gold. So this is, as usual, turning out very different than I had hoped. But again, that's not entirely unusual. So I'm going to grab some of the excess stuff off the end and I'm going to help this get to the edge. Again, we're going to tip that off, so I know it's not matchy-matchy, but we're just trying to help it move. So we have our cells still intact for the most part, but the most beautiful part is really covered up with white, and so I'm a little disappointed by that. This is why we practice. You don't know what it's going to do or how it's going to work until you practice. This will still look really beautiful when it's resin. It'll still be a really cool little wall painting, or I guess you could use it for anything. Now we still have quite a bit of paint on here, so at the risk of overstretching anything, which I don't really want to do, I'm gonna see if I can't stretch it a little bit down, get rid of some of that negative space. The only bad thing is all of our lacing up here is getting severely stretched out. At this point though, I'm not real convinced that it is like the greatest thing ever, so I'd almost rather get some color at the, even if it means we sacrifice some of the lacing, because we put such beautiful color on there and we lost a lot of it. There's a bubble that I need to pop there. So this way at least we're getting some of the color to open up. There is still a beautiful design in there, and the gold will make this negative space look nice under epoxy, because it will look like it is like an interference color or something. So it's not a complete loss, but I was hoping for a very vibrant pour, like really vibrant, deep colors. I wanted the white cell activator for the purpose of cells and lacing, but I didn't really want a lot of white negative space. So I still like it. I still think it's pretty. But if I were to do it again, I would probably use a little less cell activator, and I would probably experiment with I'm probably way out of frame, I'm so sorry. I would probably experiment with maybe not using, sorry, my Alexa's a spy. Not using the the cup over the blow dryer perhaps. So that's why we're practicing, because we want to get better at this technique. It's still beautiful. I still love the colors. We still have some cells, and the cells that we do have some gold and purple peeking through. So overall, I think it's a win. There's just some things I would do a little differently, that's all. So we'll keep practicing together. These will probably be fairly short videos. I know a lot of our videos are kind of long, so for those of you who are not fans of long videos, this might be good for you to watch. Really appreciate you watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think. You know, maybe you love it, or maybe you hate it and you have some tips for me. That's awesome too. Also, if you have any color combination suggestions, open to that. While we're practicing, I find myself going to sleep at night thinking of colors to try, which is kind of what happened with this one. And so then I end up trying them. There's a little spot where the paint's real goofy right here. So that's my dog snoring, in case all of you are wondering. But anyway, please like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. I, again, welcome your suggestions for color combinations to try. While I'm practicing, I've been interchanging this technique with kind of the swipe with the blooms so that I don't get bored. We're definitely going to lose a lot of our lacing in this one, but it's still pretty. And yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Feel free to follow us on social media. Our links will be provided in the description box. Thank you, everybody.